Hi everyone, welcome to Make Moments Matter, a music education podcast, where I share lesson ideas, songs, games, and inspiring things for your elementary music classroom. My name is David Rao, and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. This episode of the podcast is a replay containing the audio version of a Musical Mondays live video. If you're not familiar with Musical Mondays, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I go live on Facebook and Instagram to share about the lessons that I'm using in class with my students. I give a recap of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons, and then do a deep dive about one grade level and share the books, instruments, songs, and process that I use to teach the lesson to kids. This podcast episode contains all the audio from the Musical Mondays video, but if you'd like to see a replay of the video itself, you can find a link to the archived video on YouTube when you click the link in the notes for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's the show. Hey everyone, my name is David Rao, and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, and a variety of other places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. Tonight I'm going to be talking about a song that I have been using for many, many years, but also I love to use when it's coming back to school after the big winter break, the song Rattlin Bog. I'm going to talk about how I use that, the process I use, the resources I use. I'm going to talk all about that in just a second. But before I do, in case you're curious, if you hear about a resource, a book, a puppet, something that I talk about in one of these videos and you want to know more about it, I have a whole page on my blog linked, talking about all the links and things that I share, linking you to those lesson plans, ideas, whatever, so you can find them for yourself. You can either click the link at the bottom wherever it is you're watching or listening to this video or podcast, however you're taking in this content, or you can go to my blog, makemomentsmatter.org, and click the video tab. And at the bottom will be the link to the page for this year. Okay, so that's all about the links and stuff that I talk about in the video. One more thing, if you don't want to see me through a computer, phone, whatever screen thing you're seeing this, if you want to hang out in person, I'm doing a couple workshops in the next coming weeks. I'm doing one actually this Saturday just south of Des Moines, Iowa at Simpson College. That's this Saturday morning. We'd love to see you there. I'll be at Ohio Music Educators, and that's the first week of February. That's February 2nd and 3rd. I'll be doing 3 workshops over those 2 days. I'll be in Oklahoma City, just kind of north of Oklahoma City. I think it's in Edmond, on February 10th, doing a workshop with the Oklahoma ORF chapter, and then also in New Jersey for their state conference on the 22nd and 23rd of February. If you're interested in learning about any more of those things, you can check out my Facebook page or makemomentsmatter.org and click the About Me tab, and it'll show all the workshops I'm doing, all the local and stuff. And you can find ways to get to all of those, or, send me an email or message or whatever. I would love to meet y'all in person and see y'all in person for in-person stuff, because it's fun to share over connections online and connect with people all around the world, but it's also fun to meet people in person. Okay, well, it feels a little bit like deja vu, because last Monday I said, oh, hey, I was back, and so glad to be back to Musical Mondays, but it's weird because tomorrow I have the day off of school. Well, that's happened again. So last week was for potential snowstorm, and this week is for dangerously cold temperatures. So I'm off tomorrow. So it's it's this weird replay of last week, but I'm excited to be here to share one of the lessons that I love to share with students when I'm able to share with students in person in school. Usually when I'm coming back to school in January. So my philosophy about coming back after a big long break like that is I want to get students engaged. I want them to have fun. I want them to do some sort of singing, moving if we can make it happen. I want to do a song that has stood the test of time, that they're going to go home singing. And so in each grade level, I try and plan something that is like that, something that is catchy and fun that they'll remember, but I can get some musical oomph out of it. And so the song that I like to share in fourth grade, and it's weird because like every year I feel like I do either one version or the other version, is the song Rattlin Bog. And now Rattlin Bog is a very, very old song. It's a folk song. It can trace its history back until at least the late 1800s, probably before that, because as I say to anyone, especially to students, is where I'm talking about folk songs, is that folk songs have changed and developed so much over the years. And when folk songs were really most popular was in a time when not a lot of people would read or write. And so folk songs, the way they developed and why they developed, they changed and developed over time because people would tell them differently, because as the song changed from person to person, or was passed down through oral tradition, it would change a little bit. And so it wasn't really written down for a long time because people would just tell it to one another. So we don't ever really know, where does a folk song really come from? Who is its original creator or author, composer? We don't always know what was the original version. We just mostly know like what was the version that was printed first, or the one that has been most popular over time. And this song has a history where it has changed a little bit over time. And there are like I love this. Sorry, I didn't even mean for this pun. There are like two branches of the tree of this song, where one shoots off and becomes Rattlin Bog, and one becomes the green grass grew all around. They're the same song initially, and they've just changed over the years. And so the song that they think that originally started this was long, long ago, was called like the Everlasting Circle, and it branched out, which people don't really sing that version anymore, but it branched out to be Rattlin Bog or Green Grass Grew All Around. So if you sing or know either one, you know basically the same song. So the version I'm going to talk about tonight is a song called Rattlin Bog. And whenever I teach a folk song, whenever I teach an older song, I feel like if I don't talk about the vocabulary or the context of the song, I feel like I'm sort of not giving students the whole story or the whole context. And so anytime I teach a folk song like this, or a song with a long history, I like to give kids a little bit of background. So let me show you the resource that I use most often with this song. So years and years ago, I created this resource called a favorite folk song kit. And in the favorite folk song kit, there are a bunch of different things. In Instagram, I hope you can see that. Okay. So in the favorite folk song kit, initially when I made these years ago, I thought I will teach the song, and then I will print this out and make it a bulletin board. So as kids pass in the hallway, they can like see all this information. And I do that. But now I use this song, as I'm teaching this song, I was like, well, I've already created all these visuals. Why not use them as visuals? So I have it as like a PDF that I can print. I have it as a PowerPoint, and I use it in a variety of ways. So on the first couple pages of this resource are just like title pages. So this is like Rattlin Bog, favorite folk song of the month, favorite folk song of the week, and it just has all these different things that like maybe I'd use if I were going to use it as a bulletin board. There's a picture that shows that it originally comes from Ireland, we're pretty sure. There's a whole page talking about what is a folk song, and then there's the history of Rattlin Bog itself. So this page, it talks about where the song came from, a lot of different names and variations over hundreds of years, but the first time it was published that I can find was 1889. And the song has changed and adapted over the years. Some people call it Rattlin Bog, some people sing the green grass grew all around. Perhaps the oldest name for this song is the Everlasting Circle, which refers to how everything in the song is connected. But when I'm teaching this song, if I'm teaching Rattlin Bog, neither of those words probably has context for my students. So first I tackle bog, and we talk about what is a bog. So a bog is basically a wetland, and it's a specific kind of ecosystem that is flooded by water. So it's either all the time or seasonally it's flooded with water. And the four main kinds of wetlands are marshes, bogs, fens, and why can't I remember the fourth one? Well, anyway, it's on this slide. It even tells me marshes are nutrient-rich wetlands that support a variety of reeds and grasses. Swamps, there it is. Swamps are defined by their ability to support woody plants and trees. Bogs are characterized by their poor soil and high peat content, while fens have less peat and more plant life than a bog. So when I teach kids about the song Rattlin Bog, I say a bog, it's kind of like a marsh. It's kind of like a swamp. It's a wetland. And I don't say it's kind of like a fen because kids have no idea what that is. Okay, so then we talk about what does rattlin mean, because rattlin in this in this context means something maybe different than what kids would expect. So some kids, when they think rattling, they think like rattling, like a rat, or like my kids might know like a rattling snake, like a rattling snake, like a rattling snake. And so rattling could mean rattling. But when we hear that, a lot of my kids think about a shaking or like, a rattle like that a baby plays with. But when this song was written, the word probably meant that it was like good or splendid or nice. So when we talk about a Rattlin Bog, we say it's like a nice bog, like a splendid bog, a nice bog. Other words that show up in this resource kit, if you're interested, I talk about a bodhran, which is like a special kind of a drum that you might find in Ireland that's traditional. And when people sang the song originally, they probably sang it and used one of these drums. I also talk about this being a cumulative song because it is. We talk a lot in my class about form and how songs develop, and this one was one that like it keeps adding and accumulating as you go. I don't use all of these as I'm teaching it. Sometimes I'll teach the song and then come back to some of these words. Like I wouldn't show them the slide about cumulative until after we've learned the song, and then I talk about it. This is one that I might actually use in the teaching of the song. It says the parts of a tree, and it shows the different parts. So there's the trunk, which is the biggest part, the bough, the limb, the branch, the twig. Not all of them are mentioned in this song, but a lot of them are. And then I might use the music page if I forget how it goes. Because like I said, I teach both Rattlin Bog and the Green Grass Grew, and they're so similar because they're basically the same song that it's sometimes I'm like, wait, how does this one go? So I print this page out to remind myself, even though I can sing it from memory, but like sometimes that memory is clouded because which version am I doing? And then also includes a lyrics page. It also includes media links in case I want to watch a video of people singing the song. There's a really fun video of people singing this at an Irish wedding, and a couple more pages with the vocabulary words and the picture. Okay, let me switch back and then I'll talk about how I teach that song. I thought I'd share that resource because that's something that I use when I teach the song. And by the way, that resource is like super on sale tonight. It's on the links page. In case you're interested, you're like, hey, that's a fun song, I'd like to use that resource. That's there. On Instagram, someone said, do you make these on Canva? No. But I do make them. I make them at home. In fact, these I made a super duper long time ago. I don't know if you could. Oh, I don't know Canva that well, so sorry. I wish I could say. I don't know if you can open it in Canva. Probably you wouldn't want to. I don't know. But I made it so you can print it out, or you can put it into like Google Slides or PowerPoint or Keynote if you wanted to do that to use it as you teach the song. Okay, so the song. Usually I teach it from the piano, but because I'm here at home, I'll just use my ukulele. But I like to mix that up too. When I teach a song or I do a song with kids, sometimes I'll do it unaccompanied. Sometimes I'll do it with Orff instruments. Sometimes at the piano. Sometimes at a guitar. Very rarely. Sometimes at a dulcimer. Sometimes at a ukulele. Ukulele probably most of all because that's what I'm most comfortable with. Or piano, but I like to give kids a variety of experiences so that they know that they can sing and participate with any of those, but also just so they hear them used in a variety of ways. So there's some songs that like I always do on the dulcimer, or I'll always do on the piano, but it's fun to mix that up just so that kids can get a variety of sounds, so they're not always like, oh yeah, well he always sat at the piano. Well, no, not always. Anyway, so I'll just do this one with the ukulele. I usually do it at the piano. So, this song, where did I put it? There we go. So this song is one that, I usually, teach with kids. Like I said, when I come back from the break, I could do it any time of year. It's a really fun, easy, catchy song, but I like to do it now because it's something that they'll catch on to quickly and hopefully go home and sing. So I start with, this is a song about a tree. Well, actually, it's kind of about a tree, but it's about a bog where the tree grew. And there are two parts of the song, the first part and the second part. You could call them part A and part B. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you just one of those parts, and you're going to have a special job to join me. Hold on, let me just pull this up really quickly. Okay. So when I teach the song, I say there are the two parts, and what you need to do is you need to, there we go. What you need to do is that you are going to Well, the first part you're going to sing after me, you're going to echo, and the second part you have to sing with me. But the first part I'm going to teach as an echo, the second part I'm going to teach as an echo, but you're going to sing it with me because there are two different parts, the part A, part B. All right, so the first part goes like this. Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. I lied, sorry. That's part B. Anyway, so that's the chorus part. That's the part you're going to sing with me every time. So let me teach that part first. I lied. Sorry. I like to think of that as part B. I messed that up. It's been a long day. Okay, so that part I say, this is the part you're going to sing with me. So I teach them so they'll sing that part with me. Let me do it again. Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Okay, so that's the part that you're always going to sing with me. That's the chorus. We could say that's part B if we wanted, but that's the part that's always going to be the same. You're going to sing it with me. Then there's the part that changes sometimes. And actually, you could sing this with me, but let's do an echo where I sing it and you sing it. So this part goes, and in that bog, and in that bog, there was a tree, a rare tree, and a rattling tree, and a rattling tree. And, okay, then this is a little bit confusing. So the first part you got to just echo. And some people do this part in unison, but I like to do this part as an echo. And in that bog, there was a tree, a rare tree, and a rattling tree. And the next part goes, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. See, even though we echoed the first part, that feels like a good conclusion. You're going to want to sing that with me. So that part goes, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. So the first little bit of that will be an echo. And in that bog, there was a tree, a rare tree, and a rattling tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Okay, so that's the whole song, basically. There's the part we sing together, the chorus, oh, row the Rattlin Bog. And then there's the part where we do the echo at first. And in that bog, there was a tree, a rare tree, and a rattling tree, and the tree in the bog down. And the word that you should listen for that lets you know, like, now we're going to sing together and go back to the chorus is, and a rattling tree. That's the first time we do it, is what you're going to listen for. Okay, let's try it again, and I'll do it with kids. And so then what we add is I add like these simple, silly little actions. And in that bog, there was a tree, and I have them become like the trunk of a tree. They stand with their hands by their sides. A rare tree, a rattling tree. Sometimes we'll do like, ooh, like put our hands by our side, like, ooh, we're such a nice tree. I don't know. It's whatever I'm feeling that day. Usually it's the day coming back from break, so I'm feeling a little sassy. So we'll do a little action there if we want. There is no like traditional, you should do it this way action. I'm just, for the sake of my class, I'm doing it. And the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. So for the tree in the bog, I'll do like hands by my side for the tree. And then maybe in the bog, I'll put my hands out and swipe around so it's like see what's around me. In the bog down in the valley, you could do like a V with your arms if you want to do like you're in a valley. It's totally up to you, whatever. I don't believe that there's a traditional action there. You just feel your thing. Okay, well, guess what? That's not where the song ends because there's more to the song. And the next part goes, and on that tree, there was a limb, a rare limb, and a rattling limb, Ooh, there's that rattling part again. And a rattling limb. So guess what? Now we get to sing the next part in unison. And the limb on the tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. So for those actions there, we add the limb, and the limb is just an arm out. And the limb on the tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley. And so we just add that in. Guess what? There's more. And on that limb, there was a branch, a rare branch, and a rattling branch, Oh, there's the rattling thing again. So that means now we should sing in unison. And the branch on the limb, and the limb and the tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley. Oh, and then go back into the chorus. So what happens is you add something with every verse, right? And so eventually We add on all sorts of things. So when I do my actions, maybe I can see a bit of this. So I do, there's the limb is just your arm out. I do branch. I open up my hand as if it's branches. And then guess what? After that is a twig. So I choose one finger, either my pointer finger, or if I'm feeling sassy, my pinky finger will be the twig and the branch and the branch and the limb and the limb and the tree and the bog down in the valley. And you can keep adding forever and ever. And there are a variety of things that come next. Some people sing a nest, and there's an egg in the nest, and a bird in the egg in the nest, and then there's a feather on the, or a wing on the bird and the egg in the nest, and the twig on the branch and the limb on the tree in the bog. You can go to a lot of different final conclusions. The version that I sing is, and a germ on the bug, on the feather, on the wing, on the bird, in the egg, in the nest, on the twig, on the branch, on the limb, on the tree, in the bog and in the valley. I don't even know how many that was, like 9. But with every verse, you just add another thing, and you add more actions. Also along the way, so we start with real simple, like you just echo, you learn the part, echo after me, and then as we go, we just add more items. As that happens, you have to change a couple things as you go. When you build up to 4 or 5 different things, you have to really slow down the echoing part, because unless you're writing it out on the board, and even if you do, it takes kids some processing time. I do this usually around 4th grade, just again, not because it's like so tricky for them or challenging them, but because after the winter break, I want them to have something fun and exciting to come back to that is a little bit easy to pick up. So for 4th grade, this is like pretty easy. I think you could do it with 3rd or younger, but I want them to pick it up. But even with kids who are picking it up pretty quickly, they still need processing time for all the items, because you're accumulating a lot of things. So when you get to like the nest, and the nest on the branch, and the nest on the twig, and the twig on the branch, and the branch on the limb, and the limb, and the tree, and the tree, and the bog down in the valley. And what seems to happen is once you get to the things that you said multiple times, you can speed up a little bit. So as we're when we get to like the feather, and the feather on the wing, and the wing, and the bird, and the bird, and the egg, and the egg, and the nest on the twig, and the twig, and the branch, and the branch, and the limb, and the tree, and the tree, and the bog down in the valley. Oh, the rattling bog. And then you can have a talk about a cello rondo and how we were speeding up as we went, just for fun, I get, but you can talk about a cello rondo in there if you want. Another thing that sometimes I add along the way, about 4 or 5 verses in, I say, wow, these actions are great, but we can do more. So we've gotten to about, the 4th or 5th time through. You're pretty good at this song. Let's add a little something. You're going to need a partner, though. And so what I have them do is that when we're singing about the new thing on the tree, and on that branch there was a twig, they're still doing, branch, twig, they're doing their actions right. But when we get to the oh, row the Rattlin Bog, they get a turn to their partner, and they get to swing their partner. So whoever they are next to, they get to swing their partner. Oh, row the Rattlin Bog, the bog down in the and they swing around, arm's length, swinging around in a little circle. They love that. I do say, though, if you're going to do the swing your partner, my rule is you can swing your partner, and it does get kind of fast as we do that at cello rondo. So if your partner, you and your partner swing so fast and one of you flies off and into outer space, we are not going to come retrieve you, because you knew you were supposed to stay in control of the swinging your partner part. Okay, but actually, you're not actually going to swing into outer space. But what I mean by that is you need to be in control of yourself a little. That makes them laugh. You need to be in control of yourself a little bit, because if you were to swing so fast and so hard and do separate, and you fly off and hit a xylophone or a ukulele or something, that would really be tragic. And so that's why I say, if you're swinging so fast and so hard that you fly apart, you don't get to be partners anymore. You don't get to swing anymore, and you'll just have to stand there and, spin or something, but you don't get to do the swing your partner anymore if you swing apart. So them's the rules. Anyway, but about 4 or 5 verses in, we add that, and we add the cello rondo. So by the time we're done, there are a lot of items that we're singing about. Like I said, I end with, and the germ on the bug, and the bug on the feather, and the feather on the wing, and the wing on the bird, and the bird in the egg, and the egg in the nest, and the nest on the twig, and the twig and the branch, and the branch and the limb, and the limb of the tree, and the tree and the bog down in the valley, And that is quite a lot to remember. So some kids do benefit if you write it out on the board, but you could also be like, I don't know, it's a challenge. See how much you remember. It's just for fun, so it doesn't really, I'm not quizzing you on this. So if you don't remember all the things, that's okay. But it's fun to see how far you can go. There are other versions of this. People do different things on the bird. People do like somehow a worm in the beak of the bird, and then a hair on the worm, and then like a germ on the hair on the worm and the beak of the bird, or the like. There are a lot of different varieties, and sometimes to be silly, I will also do different versions. So once they learn this the right way, then maybe they come back the next day and I say, and in that egg there was a lizard, a rare lizard, and they'll be like, lizards? What, Mr. Rowe? This is about a bird. Last time you taught us it was about a bird. And I was like, yeah, but don't lizards come from eggs? And they're like, yeah, but not eggs and nests and limbs and boughs and branches and bogs. And, oh, okay. So I'll do silly things, but you could do a different, once the kids have learned it, just like I said last December when I was doing Musical Mondays, like you could take the 12 days of Christmas and make it about whatever. It could be the 12 days of summer, or the 12 days of basketball camp. This one can be the same thing. You can take the tree, and instead of having it be in a bog, it could be next to a river, or it could be in a park, or it could be whatever, and you could change the story. So like on days like this coming week where my kids have maybe learned the song, but then some of them haven't, and then some of them because of snow days, it sort of messes up the rotation where like some kids have already learned the lesson and some kids have not. Well, the kids who have not learned the lesson, I'll teach to them the first time, but the kids who have like already done it once, well then maybe we'll take the tree and we'll move it to a park, or we'll move it to a backyard or something, and we'll change the story. So I'm not scrambling to remake a brand new lesson. I'm taking the same lesson, but just like adding, extending, and changing it. But Rattlin Bog has been around a super duper long time. There are a lot of fun versions of it. On the favorite folk song set I was talking about earlier, there's a whole media page, links page that takes you to videos of other people doing it. There's some really fun, famous versions in there. And if you want that favorite folk song set, like I said, it is I put it on super sale for tonight in case you want to go and get it and use it in your classroom. You can. And the link for that is on the links page. But like I said, it has pages for the vocabulary, it has pages for the context, it shows instruments and related things and history and all the sort of stuff that I use when I'm teaching it, but also that I use to like remind them. I put it on the hall's bulletin board so they have some of that information and memory as we go. But if you do Rattlin Bog, if you do the Green Grass Crew, it's very fun music and something that is really easy and accessible for kids to explore and try, but also means that they pick up things really quickly. You can add in some of those musical concepts like cumulative form or accelerando, or you could say, these two different parts of the verse, one is echo and one is unison. I mean, you can bring in a lot of that content, even though this is like a fun song, a camp song, a traditional song. You can still get a lot out of it, depending on how you teach it and the keywords that you pull out. So for this one, there's quite a bit of vocabulary that I pull out, even though it's mostly just a fun song, which is the best because they think they're just having fun, but actually, surprise, you're learning. Okay, well, this was Rattlin Bog. I hope that you use a version of this song in your classroom because it's very fun. There's a lot of fun history behind it. If you have questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, please leave those in the comments or send me an email. My email is makemomentsmatter@gmail.com. And I'll be back hopefully next week, and I won't have snow days next week. Here's hoping. But I will see you all next week for another Musical Mondays video, and I will talk to you then. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.